me again. If you weren't expecting me, you've clicked on the wrong video. I am back at the University of East Anglia. Just met with a bunch of other photographers that I do photo walks with every couple of weeks, and this is kind of where we've been. Actually, we haven't been around here. We've been in the parkland that adjoins here, and there's a huge lake that we've walked around, and I've got some really interesting monochrome macro shots from there. But as soon as I was here, I thought I can't turn down this opportunity again. It's an architecture kind of playground, isn't it? Well, architectural photography playground. But I don't often see it as architectural photography. I see it as, again, searching for details. So when I arrived here, I drove down this road and the light was in the right place, and you might just be able to see the grasses over there where my fingers are, and the sun was really picking those up. And I came back many hours later to get exactly that kind of shot, because I was late when I got here, and you can't just park here. Look, yeah, parking restrictions and such. So I kind of missed it earlier, but I came back and I got a shot, or a number of shots. They work so beautifully well, so we'll open with a shot of those. So, same building. I think the theme for this photo shoot is going to be, well, as it's got to be with most architectural type photography, I suppose, it's structure and lines. Just look at the way that this works here. Look, there's an image there, surely.
I think these two images are a little lazy. I don't think there's anything particularly clever or novel about pointing your camera up at the roofline of a building and taking a shot of it against the sky. Of course, that doesn't mean you're not going to come away with a half-decent shot, but there are better, but perhaps less obvious images to be found, and I think this is what we need to strive for. That said, we don't look up nearly enough.
Now, a little while ago as well, the sky was a little bit more blue, and one of the great things to do in situations like this is to find reflections. Obviously, reflections at work. Yeah, the kind of reflections I'm getting over here right now don't work terribly well for me, and of course you don't really also want your own reflection, so watch out for that. And yeah, if I stand here, you can very likely see my reflection in this glass over there, so you've got to be really careful of that. So if you stand more at oblique angles, you can get something interesting. And all of these windows here are, I think they're great. I really do like them, and it's all double glazed, so actually you end up getting double reflections if you want. So you have to kind of get yourself in the right position to avoid the reflection off the furthest away pane not matching up in the same place as the first one, because it ends up looking like a double exposure and a little weird. But I've got a couple of reflections off that, so I'll pop those up.
If you have a need for audio, consider using audio.com. There's a 70% off coupon in the description below.
So if we're working on lines and shapes, every corner you turn, there's more of them. I've set the camera to monochrome for this, and it's a very simple image. Well, I always say that. Really simple images to people that can create them, I suppose. Much the same as reading. Reading's easy if you can do it. Driving's easy if you can do it. But it's these columns that support the upper part of the building here. I really like this. They're just kind of so graphic and structural. Well, of course they're structural. They're holding the building up. But there's an element of it that makes it a little bit more challenging. There's a few elements. Firstly, my position makes things awkward. My lens makes things just a tiny bit awkward, and there's also something else. Let me show you. So over here you can see there's a whole load of, right in the center of the screen, posters and such on the window there, and they add an element of confusion to an image. And my composition is really just these 4 columns at an angle sticking up, but because I need to get relatively high in order to avoid this drain grate at the bottom of the stairs down there, there's difficulties with getting all of the columns in properly and getting the bases in and having enough breathing room around them. I'm not sure I've done that justice in the shot, but I'll put it up and I hope you like it.
As it transpires, I didn't have to worry too much about those posters anyway, because in the final edit they're just in the blackness. But it's an important point that you see these things at the point of composition, because you're not always certain how the final image is going to look. So if you remove these distractions at the point of creating the image, you're not stymied by them later.
Same building, different angle. I wondered whether there's a shot of just this column in line with the others, and kind of just looking into the glass beyond. Through the LCD I'm getting a very, very nice light and shade from the pillars that I can't see, that are being blocked by the first one. And what you can probably see on the first one is there's a no smoking sign. Well, you can't see it's a no smoking sign, but that's what it is. I don't know whether that's adding something to it or not. It's a complication in a simple scene. I think without it, it probably wouldn't look so nice. But we haven't got very strong light at the minute, and I might be tempted to wait until there's a break in the cloud, not that there looks like there is any, to see whether or not actually we get much stronger shadows coming through there. But it's a nice image. Now, my reasoning for shooting most of this in black and white is really rather simple, is that when I'm trying to concentrate on the lines and the shapes, the last thing you want to do is to start confusing matters with colour as well. A few weeks ago I put up a couple of monochrome images, and someone commented, God gave me the ability of colour vision, why would I choose monochrome? And I addressed the point in the comments. But again, let's talk briefly about the power of monochrome. I've already touched upon it by kind of stripping away the colour detail. We emphasise the content, we emphasise the lines and the contrast and the shapes, and that's really what so much of a lot of mono photography is about. It, particularly when we're talking in kind of architectural kind of scenes like this, we're emphasising structure. With the stripping away of the colour, we can be really, really intentional with the shapes that we're trying to put in here. We can be very intentional with the contrast that we're trying to put in. If we have too much contrast in a colour image, it doesn't look right. I mean, it looks, let's put it a different way, it looks wrong. It looks absolutely wrong. But we over contrast a black and white image, doesn't look wrong, it looks absolutely right, so long as you do it properly, but it absolutely looks right. You can really emphasise and create mood using too much contrast. So the designers of this little area here knew what they were doing with contrast. These beautiful, beautiful white silver birch trunks against carpet of green ivy, and these beautiful dark grey tiles behind with a kind of white painted render of the building beyond. I like this. They've kind of done the job for me. I kind of wish that this didn't have the ivy growing up it because I think it messes the scene a little bit, and the distance between each of these birches here also makes the depth of field rather challenging. I might seriously be better taking you off the tripod and putting this on the tripod and doing a longer exposure to ensure that I don't get any shake on this. Now I'm going to do this over a couple of different methods. I'm going to shoot it as a focus stack, 2 or 3 images to make sure I get everything in sharp, and I'm just going to shoot a really big depth of field on f16, f14 actually. It's all about the contrast. This is currently shot in colour, and I rather think it might stay that way. Now the sun's out, maybe I'm going to do this again. Hold on. See what happens with those, because it's really catching across here and casting a lovely shadow on this first tree with the ivy.
I couldn't get everything sharp in one exposure, so I shot 3 and focus stacked them in Photoshop.
Everything today seems to be about changing lenses. There's a nice shot here. Again, structure, contrast, shape, that's all it is. But this one is colour, because the colour is almost monochromatic, it's subtle, and it's really, really nice. This spiral staircase is fantastic. I don't know why I've not seen it before, but right in the middle here there is a lamp, and it's broken, the glass is broken on it, and I think it looks amazing. It's a case of getting the angle on this right, and I think really more up here we need to be kind of with that, using a level guide on screen. Not that we've got any really straight lines on this, but better to get it right, isn't it? I love this. And I wonder too if there's an image looking up here to it. A lot of what makes a decent shot in situations like this, I mean, we'll call it architectural photography. It's probably what it is the angles, the way in which you kind of reveal elements of a photo, or the parts that you're interested in making subjects, and we twist you around here. I just, the chairs at the UEA are wonderful. They're all these shapes and wonderful colours. There's blacks and you see here oranges and whites, and there's some greens around. Not sure what other colours I've seen, but they're all the same, and they're a kind of branding of the place. It's absolutely wonderful, and the sun's coming out again, and it was out a little while ago, and you can see the shadow that's being created here by the building. And it's really just lighting this wonderful set of chairs up. I think it's a wonderful kind of architectural image, and lightly again to be colour, very high contrast.
If you're really enjoying the video, please feel free to buy me a coffee. You don't have to, of course, but a like would be great. Thanks.
This is probably one of my simplest images, certainly of today, probably for quite some time. You don't have to make them complicated. When you're talking about lines and structures and shapes and textures and such, it's about finding the right position, it's about finding the right light. The sun's gone in a bit now, which is a shame. It might come out again. There's some blue sky I can see over there. When the sun's catching this, we've got some wonderful lights coming onto this wall here, and you might just say, well, it's just a blooming wall, and yeah, it's just a wall. But if you can get just a wall lined up properly, kind of like that. It's just lines, colours and texture. Yeah, the shapes are either square or oblong at least, or a kind of angle across. I'm going to put this on video and you can see what I'm talking about. This is just so simple. There, look. You tell me that this isn't an interesting thing to look at when you frame it. Just look. Let's pull back a little bit on the zoom. I mean, I've gone out of shot behind a tree. You know, it almost doesn't matter at what angle I put this lens. Look, there's a light there as well. That adds something to it. This is such a simple shot, yet, well, so wonderful at the same time. And when we're shooting these things, we don't need to worry too much about whether it's black or white or colour. There's so little colour in it that if you stripped it away, I think it would be kind of worse. The depth that I'm getting between the outer part of the stairs and the main wall of the building is very nice. I get a hint of handrail in this, and I don't know whether that's adding something or, yeah, possibly. Maybe let's go up there and do it, because the more handrail I think we get here, the better. Oh, the light's great on there now. Let's do that. Level meter. The light is making that. Oh yeah. So I'm going to leave you with a set of shots from the stairwell. All you need to do is remember, these are simple images and they're so easy to get. Remain as square as you can. Keep the superfluous stuff out of it. Certainly big light areas and such, they'll just grab the eye. But if you can find a set of concrete block stairs anywhere near you, go out and capture some amazing images from it.
This plant was creeping up a wall just around the corner from the stairs. It's really structural. And finally, this, a really simple image. Tell me if it works for you and why in the comments.